Welcome to Bold Conscious Connections. My name is Raju Panjwani and I'm a certified leadership coach.
And I'm Triccia Ramos, a certified high performance coach. Together, we help business leaders redefine success on their terms to create more space and energy so that they live impactful lives.
Everyone wants to be seen, heard, and understood. So at a deeper level, we know that the collective consciousness is important to raise in this world, and leaders who are influencers can make that difference. We, in our coaching programs, teach people how to focus on the interconnectedness, heart-centeredness, and growth from within. And this is what this podcast will be about.
So stay tuned and subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts.
Talk to you very soon. We want to talk today about what is it that we wait for, like we want stars to align to make a decision in life.
Yes. Sometimes it shows up in different ways, but it ultimately comes down to we think we have to wait for the perfect moment to make a move. And really, the moment is now, in this present moment. And I just think about how often in life we've procrastinated because we were waiting for the conditions to be perfect. We were waiting for all of the pieces of information to be there. And it's really just this waiting game of waiting to move. We inevitably keep ourselves stuck.
Right. So we're talking about, let's say, some of our people that we talk to when we prospect clients. I mean, it's just surely when everything is agreed and you're about to have a conversation, and then it's always about, well, I need to think about this, which is great, awesome, but it seems like everything is in order, but then there is this thing, I got to do this on my own because I'm going to wait till all the stars are aligned and all the circumstances are in perfect alignment, and then maybe I'll take the decision.
It reminds me of, I know I've said this, I'm guilty of this. I'm not calling the cleaning people to come over until I clean first, right? And,
yeah.
I mean, there's other examples of that. Do you have examples?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta work out, but I'm so overweight that I don't want to go to the gym. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, because people will make fun of me. Oh, this is the other one. Sorry to pick another health example, but yoga. I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. No, you want to get into yoga so you can become flexible little by little. So,
well, it's kind of like a different kind of example is, once I have a certain amount of money in the bank, then I'll start tithing or giving it away to charity. And the truth is, when we actually make statements like these, or we actually believe them to be true, they are more harmful than they are helpful, because the person who really wants to get in better health and wants to start exercising, but then is holding themselves back because they feel like they don't feel good enough to actually go and actually engage in the exercises and the routines that would allow them to become healthier, then it's just this never-ending cycle of waiting for the right moment. And then we don't ever get into the arena because we're waiting for that right moment.
I guess what we're saying is ultimately it's about getting started. I mean, listen, it's not that easy and straightforward to get started. But, when it comes to really your health or anything that's important enough for you to move the needle on in life, then what are you holding it back for? Some people want to wait for the right inspiration. Some people want to wait for the right, circumstances to come together. You got to feel good, and everything has to be perfect. And that's the point. I think that's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
It's that perfection game, right? Because there are going to be situations where you are better off waiting, right? However, if you find yourself waiting and that's your way of being, and in the meantime, you're sitting in the sidelines feeling remorseful, or perhaps some level of shame that you're not quite doing what you wish you were doing, that you want to be doing, well, then you have to then really take a look at what is this waiting doing for me? Is it working for me, or is it just keeping me stuck exactly where I don't want to be? And waiting for the perfect moment is that. I mean, anybody that we talk to, our clients, anyone who has ever started anything great in life, just one day made a decision that they were going to go for it. And sometimes that meant going for it in the face of adversity.
And so it is that moment of decision. And I'm sure that for those of you listening and who've had some, great achievements and success in life, people would ask you, like, what was that moment? What was that decision moment for you that you went to pursue that dream or that big job or that promotion or whatever it was, to find the love of your life, to whatever you were pursuing? It's because you made a decision that you were ready for it. So perhaps it's that. Now, there's also a money issue tied to it. Like people say, okay, I'm going to buy this product or service, but I want to feel that all of that is aligned for me. That's certainly a great thing to do. And
I think you're talking about investing in something, right? Like
I'm talking about engaging the services of anybody else, not even investing. So if you're ready to do that, of course you examine what's the right provider for you, what's the right product for you. But when you've done that, then to let's say then, well, I got to think about this because I want to make sure I have enough money stashed away for this, for that, and then I will make a decision. Even though it changes my life, it improves my life if I invested in my health or whatever it may be. You're just suddenly buying the waiting game again, because that buying the waiting game is not really helping you truly. If you're inspired and everything else seems to be good from an emotional perspective, then I think you should act from an inspired place.
Well, yeah, but most often what happens is we take action from a place of fear or a place of lack. And so what that does is it obviously will limit the outcomes that we're able to generate. And so this idea of waiting for the perfect moment can be quite debilitating, because think about the world today. There's nothing perfect about it, right? Well, first of all, there never was. But man, if you're a business owner, this is really a challenging time to be living in. Not only is your way of being in question, your health, your income, your family's well-being, your ability to connect, to see your family, your friends, like all of these things are made more challenging, as a result of COVID. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment, then you're going to miss out on opportunities, and you're going to miss out on perhaps learning some important lessons that might lead you to that next big idea.
Right. So we're talking about, I guess, taking risks, right? Is that what we're saying? That to get started and making a decision about where it does move the needle for you, in the face of all the uncertainty, in the face of all the difficulty, to be unstuck means you really have to tap into what you may not have all the information, but you got to tap into somewhere that you have trust, and your intuition tells you otherwise. Then you got to go with the intuition, right? And even if it means you will move slowly in the face of all that uncertainty, but you got to embrace the uncertainty to move forward.
Well, there's only, one of our clients said today, right? There's only one thing that's certain in life, and that is death. And so if we're here in this moment now and we're present to the idea that, everything comes back, money comes and goes, but time is the one thing we don't get back. And waiting and waiting and waiting for the perfect moment, you're missing out on time.
Exactly. So think about what action you're not taking because you're waiting, and what is it costing you not to move towards that action.
And maybe it isn't a particular action or risk that you have to engage in. Maybe maybe you're putting off a conversation, waiting for the perfect moment to have a conversation with someone that maybe should have been had a while ago. Because maybe what is now a mountain could have been addressed when it was just a molehill. So it really is requiring this presence of mind with where we choose to put our energy. And sometimes waiting can be a form of just avoidance, of really stepping into that uncomfortable space, which also represents the next level of growth for you.
And as we know that no growth of any substance comes without discomfort. So it's whether you, as we said, you want to lose weight, you're not going to go to the gym because of whatever, feeling, fear of being judged, etc. Well, you just have to step in, because if without stepping into the arena, nothing really happens. So I know we all have our insecurities, the obsession with security and safety and everything being perfectly aligned. We just know from our own experiences, and we've been there, procrastinating and not moving forward. But what we're here to share is that when we have moved forward with discomfort is when the growth happens.
Well, that's where the magic occurs, right? Because then all of a sudden you're exposed to different outcomes that you couldn't have even imagined, because you didn't limit yourself to the parameters that you already were aware of. Because the truth is, we think we know it all, or we think that we know a lot. And, the truth is that there's so much more to what we see. There's so much more than what our 5 senses are physically reporting to us in this moment. And if you can just allow yourself to give yourself a chance, just try it. Open the door for you to have that conversation, make that investment, take that risk, go to the gym or whatever it is. Try that workout. Everything else will follow, because we are built to get better and better with time. We are built for that. Our bodies, our minds have the capacity to continuously remember and improve upon repeated actions and repeated behaviors. So on the flip side of that, every time you suppress your desires, you're now getting very, very good at suppressing your ability to feel courageous, confident, and to be a person of action.
So, no big mysteries here, truly, but it is about taking inspired and courageous action if you really, truly want it. Because then you have to examine, are you really passionate about what it is you say you want to do, but you don't do it because you have every excuse in the book? I know I've been there. So I've had every excuse in the book not to go work out, for instance, about 7 or 8 years ago. But it's when you make that decision. So make a decision. Make a decision.
Yes, and the last thing that we want to share is we want to empower you to root for your version of yourself that is empowered, your version of yourself that's inspired. That part of you that actually wants something better for you. We want you to root for that you. What most of us do, what most people will do, is they'll continue to root for their limitation. Mm-hmm. And that's, our perceived limitations are really just momentary, temporary lies that our egos are telling us. And so when we are arguing for our limitations, we are not doing anybody any good, not ourselves, not our immediate circle of people. But when we step into how powerful we truly are and how that we can co-create our experiences, and you become your own cheerleader and you show up with conviction, others around you they'll do the same, because energy is contagious. And you'll be role modeling what that looks like for, you never know who's watching you. If you have children, you have team members, people who look up to you. We all could use a little bit more confidence, right? And I think that we have to be willing to root for ourselves.
And flip side is, so what's at stake for you? If you're not doing that, can you imagine that? Like, what is not happening for you, for your children, for your loved ones, for your team members?
Your business, your clients. Yeah.
So really, that's one way to think about it and say, okay, well, I don't want that downside, but I'm passionate enough to move forward. Then you got to make that difficult choice. It's always the difficult choice is usually the right one, because your intuition knows it.
That's why it's difficult.
That's why it's difficult. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. Well, until next episode, signing off here.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if so, make sure to subscribe, download, and share it with your sphere of influence.
We bring a variety of topics to you, and it's like a masterclass for those topics, and it's all free.
So take a screenshot, share it on your social media, and add the hashtag #BoldConsciousConnections so that we can find you, see you, maybe say hello.
And if you want to deep dive into some of the topics that we bring to you, find us at www.livemasterminds.com and get to know us.
Take care.